Good afternoon. My name is Gabe Anderson, and it's a pleasure to finally kind of be showing you guys the work that me and our team have been doing over the past couple of months, actually the whole year. But I will be taking you through our team's work breakdown structure, our methodology, and our overarching project goals and outcomes for this competition. So to start off, our team breakdown. Me, I'm Gabe Anderson. I'm an SRE major. I was part of this competition last year, so I was bringing a little bit of the experience to the team. And then Dave Bilger. He's also an SRE major, and he really worked a lot on the conceptual design with me and some other of our teammates. Sharon Elms, he was really the development plan guy. He was working in the background, making sure we were meeting all those setbacks, meeting up our permitting, coding, and zoning. Then Daniel Gibson, he was our big battery guy, and he also worked on some of our conceptual design as well. And then finally, Gabby Hershey, she was our finance person. She was the one working the books. And then methodology, our team first started with design with determining location and sizing. Then we moved on to our distribution, where we talked about where we want to interconnect these PV systems, where we could, where we couldn't, as well as this is kind of the time where we decided to look into batteries and where batteries could help kind of relieve some of the stress. Then we went on to financial to make sure that our projects and everything were financially stable and made sense. And then kind of throughout the whole thing, the development plan was going on through the background, making sure, like I said, that we were meeting all of those standards. And then, so our project goals. So our main project goal, or at least our first one, is for the adaptation of the modern college campus. And by using the flexibility of PV technology, we wanted to kind of flip the script on typically viewed negative aspects of large college campuses, such as energy intensive buildings, large unopened utilized areas, as well as single use and flexible parking lots. We then also wanted to bolster the college by upgrading or upsizing some of the some of the PV systems that NCSU has on their campus. As you see, we incorporate some pretty large systems onto the campus, as well as some batteries to increase resiliency to make sure that the necessary buildings always stay powered and have that energy that we need. And then finally, to flourish, we want the campus to see economic benefit, as well as see the community benefits, as well as PV offers a great area for education. And now I'm going to pass it on to David. He's going to these are our project outcomes, apologies. So these were our main project outcomes of our over the past year. Total energy production equivalent, making up about 7,000 megawatt hours annually for the first year. Avoided CO2 pollution of about 11 million pounds per year, as well as our total savings, with Gabby will talk about a little bit later, of about $7 million over 4 million over the 20-year period. Apologies. And now I'm going to pass it to David, and he's going to talk a little bit more about conceptual design.
Hey, so I'm David Bilger, and I'll talk a little bit about the conceptual design. So I'll just go a brief overview of our solar technology portfolio. If you take a look at the table at the top right, you can see the nameplate size, yearly production, offset from grid, and annual emissions saved for each of our 4 system types. And if you look at figure A on the left, you can see that our photovoltaic design contributes about 45% of our total production overall to the campus, followed by carports with 21% and roof mounts and then ground mounts. And then if you look at the table on the right side, you can see that the consumption before PV and after the PV installation, along with the consumption reduced along the top. And so for our total amount of systems, we had 7 building roof mounts, 3 carport systems, 3 ground mounts, a total of 10% energy offset, 80% solar access for all modules, and a 7-degree tilt for our rooftops and carports, a 35-degree tilt for our ground mounts, and we had a 5-degree tilt on our photovoltaic system. So for the conceptual design of carports, in total, we had 3 carport systems. Each of these systems utilizes a Solar Mounts LLC racking, and each of these carport systems will offset a building's load. And these utilizing additional carports allows for the on-site generation where roof space is lacking for some of these buildings. And these carports have shading and EV charging potential that go along with them. So for our photovoltaics design, we chose to go with a Hydrolio buoyant racking system. And these modules will connect easily to the racking system. And there's no heavy machinery needed in order to assemble the system, as well as there's little additional waterproofing needed. However, there's a need to build for a shed for electrical components, and you have to account for the lake rise, drop, overcome with coils or loops for some slack when the tides rise and fall. And then I'm going to pass it over to Daniel to talk about the interconnection.
Hi guys, my name is Daniel Gibson. I'm going to be talking about our interconnection circuitry and our batteries today. To start off, we decided to map our system. Figure 6 shows each system's path that it takes to connect to the substation. Table 3 shows our interconnection circuitry, considering a maximum demand from Duke Energy. We decided while we were building our designs, this was the first important step to develop within our means. As you can see with circuit B1C1, our photovoltaic would have overwhelmed our circuit had it not been designed carefully. To overcome this and prepare for any future concerns, we installed a 2 kVAR power factor correction filter, and we recommend this to avoid overload for future development. With that, I'm going to introduce Gabby for our financials.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabrielle Hershey, and I will be presenting on the financial analysis for our proposed system. Given the Inflation Reduction Act being passed in 2022, which allows tax-exempt entities to reap the benefits of the investment tax credit, our proposal for North Carolina State University is an outright purchase of the systems discussed previously by David and Daniel. This is in contrast to previous public university solar financing, which would utilize a power purchase agreement and eliminates the need for an outside investor. For ease to NCSU, we propose this outright purchase to avoid a monthly bill and the 2% escalation rate of the PPA price utilized within our modeling. In eliminating an outside investor, NCSU is eligible to receive payment equal to the tax credit in the form of a check from the IRS. Our system designs are eligible for the 30% ITC, a 10% bonus for utilizing domestic content manufactured by American-based Mission Solar Energy, and another 10% for Wake County, which houses NCSU, qualifying as an energy community. Combined, NCSU can be expected to receive 50% of their eligible investment paid back to them. To maximize customer savings, we propose the 3 systems seen below in Table 2, which total over 2,800 kilowatts DC installed and saving over $4 million in avoided energy costs over a 20-year period. With the systems costing $4.8 million and receiving over $1.7 million from the ITC, this would result in a $968,000 net benefit for the university. For net metering under current rate pricing for the university time of use schedule, NCSU would be required to forfeit the renewable energy credit offsets to Duke Energy and not be able to claim them for the campus or meet their goals proposed within their sustainability plan. Real-time pricing could allow for this to be bypassed, but beginning July 1st of this year, Duke Energy requires time of use rates as a qualification for net metering. In sum, our partners 3 ground mount, Hunt Library ground mount, and the photovoltaic design are our proposal for increasing financial benefits and offsetting campus grid consumption. Thanks.
Thank you, Gabby. It's Daniel again. I'm going to introduce our battery storage system to go into a little bit more depth. To start off, our battery storage system costed about $1,900,000. So I felt like it was important to talk about a couple minutes on it. In order to achieve our power offset, we recommend 576 batteries to be installed around campus. Considering that each battery has a 7,000 cycle capacity, we anticipate each battery is going to last about 15 to 19 years. Going down the line, it can be paired into 6 and wired in series so that it can be wired with the inverter shown on the screen. That pure sine power wave inverter charger is able to offset 40% of the load or greater, which is the highest requested offset by the university. So we're confident in the inverter's ability to achieve this reduction from Duke Energy. Going down the line, the appendix slide that you will see a little bit later will go into greater detail about the power factor correction, revealing an effective synergy by installing both solar and batteries on campus instead of just one or the other. I'm going to go ahead now and introduce Sharon to show our photovoltaics and community impact.
Hello, everybody. I'm Sharon. I was the lead of the development plan. I'm going to run you through kind of what we kind of went through to pitch these systems to you all. So while the ground mount, roof mount, and the carport systems followed the general procedure for solar installation, there was specific verbiage for floating PV equipment that was listed in the National Electric Code's 2023 edition. And it basically just kind of went through that if you want to design a system that's floating on water, it has to be specifically designed to meet racking configuration. So that way that any increased humidity that comes with being on the water doesn't affect the racking in the system as a whole. So then for our timeline, we kind of used a residential timeline, if you can see in the figure, but it still was applicable to commercial installations as these are kind of the roots of installing solar. So steps 1 through 3, we kind of took care of you all free of charge. And then for the 4th phase, we kind of went through permitting, which included an electrical component and an actual physical install, and you would have to go through North Carolina to kind of get these permits. They would take about 30 days, but they can be applied for simultaneously, so you'd only have 1 month of lead time for all your permitting. Phase 5, we kind of saw sort of a holdback, or where we could have some areas where we might need some slack, because there is not only a large amount of panels that we need for these projects, but also there's an investigation going on by the US Department of Commerce into dumped solar panels into the US market. So we kind of see that depending on if you schedule directly with Mission Solar, or if these kind of holdbacks from the investigation get to this project, since it is such a large scale, that might hold us back. Then for our 6th phase, which was installation, we decided that it would probably be best for the systems if North Carolina used local installers, so that way we could boost the local economy as well as decrease the lead time on installation. There was finally for phase 7 and 8, we're going to have to go through another inspection to make sure that we're actually up to code when it comes to building install and electrical integration. So about 3 months is your lead time. And then finally, we decided for our community outreach that we wanted to use sort of a standalone accessory unit, that way that North Carolina State University faculty can kind of interact with each other in nature and kind of see firsthand what renewable energy is good for. So we proposed that these systems were just used around campus in areas that were otherwise unused. And that way they could provide an assortment of utility to the university. So such as a place for emergency communications, bike pumps, wall pumps, places where people could go outside, interact with each other, nature, and renewable energy as a whole. Thank you. I'd like to say thank you all for giving us this opportunity. We truly enjoyed this project, and that's our presentation for you all.